So it's great to have you all here. It's going to be a lot of fun, except when it's not. Since most of you have been on one of these courses before, you know sometimes you love it, and sometimes you don't love it. You usually love the end result, but not necessarily every step along the way. For whatever reason, the mind feels a little threatened by rooms like this. And for good reason. Because we live in a world where the mind usually gets to run the show. In society, it usually runs the show. In how we deal with each other, it's usually running the show. Or at least it thinks it is. It actually never runs the show. But at least it can maintain the illusion of having some sort of control. Whereas, as you let go and as you discover the truth of who you are, you discover that there was no one here to have control to begin with. Not even the mind. So it's not unusual for the mind to rebel a little, for it to give you all sorts of good reasons why you shouldn't be here, why you should leave, why you shouldn't come. You know, there's always, when we set up a retreat, there's usually a lot of people, they want to come, but they don't want to come, but they want to come, but they don't want to come, but they want to come, but they don't want to come. And some people come and some people don't. And it's just another example of how little control we actually have. Because there's probably a few people in this room who swore they'd never go. And there were other people who swore they would absolutely be there no matter what, and they're not here. Because that's how life is. Life just unfolds as it does. And we're making up brilliant stories about how it's unfolding afterwards. But the story never has anything to do with what actually is happening, for a host of reasons. First off, it's because it's always afterwards. Science now has discovered that the body moves, and then you have a thought, move your arm. But the arm is already moved. It's already started to move. So thinking about what the body should do or shouldn't do is always after the fact. And then we make up a story about why the body's doing what it's doing. That's even more fun. And then it's important, one of the things is I am going to be using words the entire week. But remember that, I don't have a better tool. But remember that words are never the truth. Ever, never, ever. No matter how eloquent, even if you're a brilliant poet, what are the awards you win for being a great writer? Even if you're a Pulitzer Prize winning writer, you're never speaking words can't be the truth. At their very best, they point to something, but words are as much as the truth as a map is the territory. And a lot of us think that when we sit down on the map, we're actually in the place. But we're not. The life happens now, and it was here before there was language. Both on a microcosmic level and a macrocosmic level. There was obviously life, even human life, before there was any kind of human language. But trees don't need language. Birds sing, but they don't really have language. And then every body, mind in this room had life before there was language. You had to learn language. That's why most of us only speak one or a handful of languages. We don't know all the languages on the planet because language always comes after the fact. So even though that's the tool we'll be using here, it isn't the territory. It isn't the truth. Because language cannot communicate truth. Language is just a bunch of symbols representing labels for what was. That's all it is. It's not even what was. It's symbols representing labels about what was. What is doesn't need any symbols or any labels. It just is. So if you think you need to catch all the words this week, forget it. It doesn't matter. I know some of you have already taken notes. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with taking notes. But know that anything you've written down on your piece of paper or anything that you write down this entire week is not it. If you can write it down, that's not it. If you can say it in words, that's not it. It won't keep me quiet all week, though, don't worry. This body likes to make words. And what I feel is that this is an invitation. It's an invitation for all of us, even though we'll be using words, to discover what's beyond words, to discover that which needs no words to be. That which is here before you have the thought, I just woke up. That which is here after hypnagogic sleep, where you have all those images that have no idea where they're coming from. After those pass, it's what you are is still here. It's here when there's dreamless sleep, and it's here when there's sleep with dreams, and it's here during the waking dream. It's here right now. And if you think you need to get something this week in order to be who you are or what you are, quit it. There's nowhere you need to go and nothing you need to do in order to be that which you already are. Now, some of the minds in the room, what about? Not even that. And also, if you've come to have a more perfect ego or a more perfect persona, you're in the wrong room. Again, a lot of what's taught in seminar rooms is how to polish the persona, how to make it more effective, happier, healthier. All of this effort to try to bolster something that isn't even real. Now, does that mean you might not end up being happier, healthier, and richer by the end of the week? Of course not. Might happen despite itself. But that's not what this course is about. The 9-day retreats are not about getting more stuff. They're also not about having less stuff. Again, those of us who've been on the spiritual path for a while have probably gone through a phase where we thought it was about less stuff. If I don't have any stuff, then maybe I'll feel happy. It's just as unnecessary as thinking, or untrue, thinking that if you have more stuff, you'll be happy. Most of you know that doesn't work. But it won't stop you from trying. So stuff comes and goes. Thoughts come and go. Perceptions come and go. The sounds in your head come and go. The sensations in the body-mind come and go. But what you are is motionless, is timeless, is spaceless. And it has nothing to do with what you had for breakfast this morning. It has nothing to do whether or not you can tie your body in a pretzel. It has nothing to do with how many repetitions you've done of a particular practice. In fact, it has nothing to do with anything. And yet it has everything to do with everything, because what we call things are merely appearances in or on that awareness that you are. You can certainly have awareness without things, but you can't have things without awareness. Yet most of us are still very concerned with the things. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with taking care of the things, including the thing called the body and the mind. And also, I actually had this realization earlier today. There's an avian virus going around locally. It's not toxic to humans. Some of the minds, it's something that happens all over the world when you have a concentration of a lot of people feeding birds. Sometimes diseases go through the local area and they kill off maybe 1% of the birds, or maybe 1/10 of 1%. But people who are bird lovers, like myself, get concerned. So I was cleaning, my wife and I were cleaning and bleaching our bird feeders. And I was carrying the bird feeder, partially filled with water, down into my backyard, and I noticed that I was being careful lest I fall. And then I also noticed that the mind had a judgment about that. Well, if you were free, you wouldn't have, you wouldn't worry about whether or not the body fell or not. And then I just realized, well, that's silly. That's how silly the mind is. Because it's not about not taking care of the body. It's not about not taking care of life. It's not about the quality of your thoughts. First off, they're not your thoughts. There's no such thing as your thought. There's just thought. And also, I grew up in the self-help spiritual culture where for years and years and years, and those tendencies are still here, to think that I need to fix it. You know, I need to have a better persona. Even after everything that I've done, those tendencies still occasionally come up. Now, I usually laugh at them, but they do come up. And it's because a lot of us have been brainwashed to think that we're not enough and not okay exactly as we are. We need to change something about the body-mind in order to be what we already are. But you don't. Nothing needs to change in order for you to be what you already are. And the reason we're here for 9 days is most of us don't believe that. We think, well, no. He just says that because it sounds good. No. It's actually my living experience that nothing needs to change in order for you to be what you already are, because what you are is not about language, as I've already said. And it's also not about experiences. That's another place we all get caught. Everyone here is looking for the perfect experience. In fact, some of you had them in rooms like this, including this room. So you're back for more. I need more. On the third day, at 3 in the afternoon, on my last retreat, it was amazing. I want another hit of that. Right? Or it may have happened to you listening to an audio program. Or just by accident. But it's not about that, because experiences are not who you are. Experiencing definitely colors the nature of how this body-mind reacts, and how those body-mind reacts, how you interrelate with supposed others. But there's no such thing, just like there's no such thing as your thought, there's no such thing as your experience. There's just experiencing. And so this week is not about experiencing bliss. Oh, let's all do that together. Oh. It's not about experiencing peace. Oh. Bummer, and I know. What? Oh, you're admitting you're from California? Yes. So that doesn't mean that you might not at times feel more peaceful this week than you ever have in your entire life, but it's not about that. Because if it's an experience of peace, or an experience of bliss, or an experience of joy, or an experience of pain, or an experience of intense suffering, it's just an experience. It's transitory. It has its moment, and then it's gone. And trying to accumulate better moments is kind of silly. It's like trying to catch seawater with a sieve. Where's your experience of the moment that we just experienced? Where is it now? It's gone. Where are all the experiences you had yesterday? They're gone. No experience is permanent, because there is experiencing in this moment, obviously, but there's nothing here to hold on to. You're supposed to say bummer again. Good. You missed your cue. What was he talking about? Why did he say? So are you all in the right room still? Now, is there something wrong with the fact that you came here because you want to feel more peaceful? No. Whatever it takes. You know, have you ever done something, but it had nothing to do with the reason that you thought you did it? Every moment of every day. The mind makes up all these good reasons why you shouldn't do certain things. And what happens? You do them anyway. And it makes up equally important and meaningful reasons why you should do certain things. And you don't do them. So it doesn't matter if the mind convinced you to come here to have everlasting bliss. It could have just as well go to Sedona because you have nothing else to do today. And also this week, we will be exploring almost exclusively the fifth way. And I'm getting tired of calling it the fifth way because it sounds like there's something to do. But I'm not going to change it now. It's too late. But it isn't a way. You know, just as a reminder, there are 4 ways of letting go, and then there's the fifth way. The first is deciding to drop it. The next is welcoming it. The next is diving in. The next is welcoming both sides. The last is the fifth way, which isn't about letting go or holding on, but it sounds good. It's really simply about discovering what's actually here now and what isn't. It's about discovering what you are and what you're not. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, if you want to perpetuate suffering and you want to stay lost in the drama, I wouldn't advise it. It's highly detrimental to suffering. So if you still think you've got some suffering left and you really want to milk it for all it's worth, don't pay attention at those parts. Which means you have to sleep for the next 9 days. Which for some of you won't be hard in this room, I'm sure. This sound of this voice can be a little too soothing. But if you also think that you need to get something through using any of the perspectives or tools or techniques that we call the fifth way, that also isn't going to work. Because again, you cannot get what you already are. You also cannot lose what you already are. So if you came here to gain or lose something, oh well. But again, I could say that about going to the grocery store. It's not that this room is special. It's not that this body-mind is special. It's not that any of those body-minds are special. They're not. You're supposed to say bummer again. I know. I'm going to have to give you a cue. Actually, I don't want to give you a job. It's okay. But one of the things that we also do to create the illusion of separation is we try to make certain things special and other things not so special. Especially our body-mind. We think that's special. We think it belongs to us. It doesn't. If it really belonged to you, then you could take it with you when you died. But you can't. At least they haven't figured that out yet. And the things that you can't take with you are the things that are real. Because they're not things at all. So, we're going to do an exercise. It's a mingle, and I know a lot of you know a lot of the people in the room, and some of you have never met anyone in this room, except maybe the person you came with. And then there's everything in between. So what I'd like you to do is, in a second, I'm going to have you get up and meet as many people as you can. And we'll be rude. Here in the United States, we usually talk about what we do. That's a bummer. Oh, great. So, but I want you to experiment with a different way of doing it. I'll demonstrate. Here, Jennifer, come up and we'll demonstrate. Hi. And so what we usually do is we say who we think we are, and we say what we think we do, and we talk about what's happened since the last time that we saw this person. So I want you to do all that, but with just one change. By the way, I want you to not spend more than maybe 30 seconds with one person, because I want you to experience this with as many people as possible. But this is what I want you to do. Hi.
Hi.
I'm not Hale.
I'm not Jennifer.
And I'm not leading this seminar.
I'm not attending this seminar.
And I'm not happy to see you. You get the point? Thanks. I want you to break that pattern of identifying with your story. And this is a very simple way to do it. And it's again, this is not the key to enlightenment. You don't need to write this down. By the way, I should get something else out of the way first. For those of you who think there's such a thing as enlightenment, and also for those of you who think there's such a thing as bondage, both are just concepts. They come from language. They come from a really good sales pitch. They come from a lot of spiritual books, but there's no such thing. There's only what is. So at any rate, what I'd like you to do is meet as many people as you can, and say I'm not, if your name is Alberto, say, hi, I'm not Alberto. And I've never come to one of these seminars before. So you can, by the way, if you get tired of using the word not, you can use never. Now, some of the people in the room who are really into the law of attraction saying, well, if you're saying not, aren't you still affirming it or pitching it and all this other kind of caca? Just forget that for now. Just notice what happens as you have conversations like this. Now, the one thing is, your mind might get bored if you just do that. So occasionally I'd like you to negate something like, I'm not a giraffe. I'm not a giraffe. So I guess I am a giraffe. But anyway, so the reason to do that is because very quickly the mind may just go on automatic and ignore all the nots and nevers. So occasionally I want you to throw in a wild card. I want you to say, if you're a man, say, I'm not I am a woman. Do you know what I'm saying? In other words, throw in a couple of things, mostly stick with just negating the things that you would obviously say if you were just going to a normal event as opposed to one that we put on, and you were meeting people on the first break and you were trying to connect and you had your cards in your pocket and you saw all the prospects for your multi-level scheme and or you saw the perfect guy or the perfect girl. Oh, he's hot. Oh, she's really hot. So all that, let that all be there. And at the same time, just add not or never or don't. You know, don't like coming to these seminars. That's why I'm here for 9 days. You get the point? But occasionally you throw a total non sequitur in just to keep the mind alert. So is that clear to everybody? Okay, everybody stand up and meet as many people as possible. That's a different way to meet people. What? Or not to meet people. It's a different way not to meet people. So does anyone want to share anything they noticed as we did that? Did anyone notice anything, or was it... No? Seemed completely natural and like how you live your life. Yes, Marianne. Anyone else? Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Yes. You want to...
I'm Marianne, and usually when we do this, I would start immediately to take myself very seriously.
Yes.
That was impossible.
That wasn't possible, right? That's good. You want to just pass it that way? No, she has the mic. Anyone on this side while we have a mic here? No?
I'm
Just-
Arlene, and I felt much lighter, and it was actually a lot of fun. It was like I had gotten rid of something I really didn't want.
Right. That's great.
Yeah, the things I noticed is that the mind adapted very quickly. And after a while, you were able to actually make conversation like, oh, I'm from this city. Oh, I've never been to that city, especially I have never been there 3 times, and I didn't enjoy that area.
Right. Great. Yes, good.
I actually felt it was more genuine communication than most of the time when I'm at a party and I'm introducing myself to someone. And it was more playful.
Right. Great. Wonderful. Yes, you want to pass... Oh, you got it. And then you can pass it over there when you're done. Go ahead.
It was really fun and very liberating, and nothing we were saying was true, but that was so liberating, and just what I think is true about me isn't.
Right.
So it's just an interesting point of view.
Yes, it is. You want to pass the mic over there? Anyone else on this side of the room? Anywhere? Any brave people? No? Okay. You can pass the mic back this way then. So, go ahead.
I found it easier to be in the moment because you are, or I wasn't actually, thinking about what I was going to say next. I was more thinking about, or I wasn't more thinking about saying not. So
Right.
it didn't take my mind off what I wasn't thinking about.
Right.
Why?
No. I'll summarize.
Why?
By the way, that's one of the things, if your mind is going bonkers, you can say that to your mind.
Why?
By the way, I'm quoting my Nandai Conyer. He's a very wise bird. Actually, he's very cute because he, from when we first bought him, we bought him, he was already almost 2 years old. I think he had a lot of Twinkies when he was growing up because he was traded by like a 16-year-old with his mother's help, who was going to sell the bird so we could get a bicycle. So we got the bird. And I'm sure he never heard Indian music at this home. I guarantee it, meeting the family. But the first time we played, and my wife and I really like bhajans, that we like Indian music. It's probably some old memory in there, kicking around going, do that again? But anyway, so what Charlie does, he has his vocabulary is one word. What? So my wife and I quote him a lot. But the other thing, when he hears bhajans, he goes like this. Or you can just say, if you just say, oh, he goes. We have a sage for a bird. It's probably just a yogi, but whatever. So, so a great thing to say to your mind, if it's saying something that doesn't make any sense to you, or does, that's even scarier. When it's telling you something that is obviously going to get you into a lot of trouble, but it's saying it with such conviction, you can just say, "What?" We should have a tape of the bird in the video?
Oh, you. I need the recording.
Oh, you need a recording of me? We just got... What? So I'll say that from time to time this week. I've actually said that before in seminars. That's some people have that written down in their books. What? I don't know exactly how you write that with emphasis, but... I actually should try doing a seminar where that's all I say. I'll bring someone up. They'll sit here. They'll be crying and telling me the whole story, and then they'll look up to me expectantly, and I'll go, "What?" It would probably be a lot more effective than anything I say anyway. Really, a lot more effective. So now that we got the serious part of the seminar out of the way, so let's see if there's anything else I want to cover. Oh, so if anyone has something they'd like to ask, share, or get assistance with, we can do that for a little bit. And you already know what I'm going to say. Or I might say something else. Within the next couple of weeks, we're releasing our first iPhone app. It's going to be an iPhone and Android app, an iPad, and it's going to be free. We were hoping it'd be ready during this week, but we got a bug report back from Apple that we have to correct before we can release it. So it depends how quickly we can correct that. But within the next couple of weeks, we'll be releasing our first iPhone app.
What is that?
What is it?
What is that? An iPhone app?
You must have a dumb phone. Does your phone have a screen?
My son has an iPhone.
Yes.
What is an app?
What is an app? It's a short for application. What? BlackBerry. What about BlackBerry? We've excluded them.
have an application for that?
No. It was too expensive to do all three. So we just have Android and iPhone and iPad. And the first one is it's an application to make more money, and that's the one we're giving away for free. Now you're going to have to get another phone, yes. But what it is, I'll say just a couple more things about it now, and if it's ready this week, I'll let you know. There'll be a site you can download it from. But what it's going to have is 8 releases, one on visualization and releasing, one on what is your heart's, what is the simplest and most outrageous thing you can do right now for your goal and releasing and getting into action. It's going to have releases on beliefs and releases on giving and receiving. And so there are 4 short, 4 long releases on those 4 topics. You can schedule your releases. You can have them happen randomly. You can just push a button and listen to it right then. And then there's a digital gains book built right into the phone where you can record audio, video, text, and pictures. And if you want, you can share them on Facebook and Twitter. So all that's built into the app, and it's free. So it may be ready by next week. It probably would have been if we didn't miss one bug. They found a bug, so we have to fix it. They don't let it. You put phone apps out with bugs in them. So, but even if we do give the app out this week, you still need to turn your phone off. Sorry. So, does anyone have anything they'd like to ask or share or get assistance with?
Well, so about a month ago, I wasn't really wanting to come here. And, you know, I actually was really looking forward, but I wasn't quite sure how I was going to be able to get here. I was in the middle of a job, and things were kind of stressful at work, and I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to make it to the March 9 day. And about 3 weeks ago, I got called in, and they said, well, we're laying 60% of the company off. And my first thought was, hot damn, I get to go to Sedona. and it just struck me as, wow, when you really become hootless about something, it actually works for you. And I really just don't even care that I'm not working. I'm just really thrilled to be here. So I just wanted to share that as a gain, because it really is a gain for me.
I should put that on our website as an incentive to come to our seminars. You too could lose your job. That's very cute. Anyone else have something they'd like to share or ask or get assistance with? Yeah. Stand up, please.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it to the 9-day seminar in March. And then a couple months ago, my doctor told me, that I was going to need surgery on my left shoulder, and I'd be suffering terribly for 12 weeks. Well, here I am, and I'm not suffering, and I am at the seminar. So got the time off from work to come, so that was another gain like that.
Great. Anyone else have something they'd like to share? Yes, all the way in the back. Where's the other microphone? Do I have it? Yeah. No, there's two. There's one. Where's the other one?
I'd like to share again. When I first started doing the Sedona method, I was incredibly shy to the point where I just wouldn't talk with people. I was afraid of going into public. I was afraid of going into different venues. And since releasing, I'm to the point where I can stand up, talk on the mic, and it's no big deal. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I just get up and start talking. And like a year and a half ago when I first came here, I couldn't do that.
That's great. Thanks. Anyone else? While you're waiting for the mic, could you let go of wanting to figure it out? It's right there. Please stand.
My name is Amrit, and I was here in the last retreat for 7 days. And when I went home, my mother-in-law was there. Boy, my husband thought I should be really very calm when I went back, and I was more angry to see her, really. And then, but it was, but I still did my duty. She was well taken care of, but she's the same way, selfish.
Yeah.
And finally, she does mean things every day, all the time, just with me because I really care so far, always respect. So election day, November 2nd, I just came out of my office. My housekeeper was not coming that night, so I went to give her something to eat, and she said, she's sitting on the phone. I'm the one who gave her the phone. She should have a phone all the times. Sitting on the phone telling her daughter, we're not taking care of her. And I walked in. I said, Mom, I heard everything you said. I took the phone from her and told her daughter. I said, I heard your conversation, and thank you very much. I just gave her, I said, Pacha, I looked at her eyes, into her eyes. I said, I really felt that, you have the guts.
That what?
I said, you have the guts to do that?
Yeah.
And I really felt ashamed I did it for you, but you didn't feel any bad at all talking about us. My husband is almost 60 plus, and I'm going to be 60. I said, how dare you do this? I'll be married 40 years this year. And I walked out, didn't talk to her since then. And the whole family is just kind of, my husband couldn't believe it that I can do that. And he said, you went to Stoner Method and you came back and you're coming back strong. I said, no, I'm standing up for myself, you know. So now everybody's like, how you can do this? I said, yes, I can.
Yeah.
And so they're having a tough time, but I'm here.
Another one for the website, we could say, send your husband or wife. You'll never want to talk to them again.
You know, when she left our house and they went to my brother-in-law's house and she ended up in the hospital. And she can't believe it that I haven't seen her since then. She's calling the house and at different times, different phone line, talking to the housekeeper, and then I told my husband, I said, you know what, if you love me, don't ask me. And his sister came, and I told her, I said, you know what, tell your mother, because there's excuse always, mom's is so hurt. And I said, will you tell your mother she really hurt my soul, and my soul doesn't allow me to talk to her.
Great.
So.
So again, one of the things you'll get from the seminar may not be what you expect. But actually, in my experience, often this will happen where people who acted nice their whole lives will quit it. And at first it might be a little shocking, especially to the person doing it. But again, in my experience, as you let go and as you remember or rediscover or just uncover, none of those words are actually accurate, the truth of who you are, things just function naturally, and you may no longer be a doormat. You may start saying no in all the times you used to say yes. Who knows what will change? It's not you anyway, so what's the difference? So that's great. Thank you. Anyone else want to share what's been happening? Or anything else?
This is both just a gain and an honoring. My father died very suddenly a couple weeks ago, and he was instrumental to exposing me to spiritual things in my early 20s, and I was rereading letters that he wrote to me when I was in my early mid-20s, and it was amazing. I hadn't looked at those letters in such a long time, and he did a bunch of different things, and as I'm reading the letters, he was releasing. And we always talk about how it's so natural, and it was such a wonderful just connection with my father, and it feels so perfect to be here to just share the love that we had, and it's so okay to just be sad, and there's times I'm so grateful he's not in that wreck of a body anymore. So I feel so much gratitude to him and to everything that I've learned that allows me to just be with what is right now, and just my gratitude. And I actually said to my dad, I said, your timing was like so impeccable. I'm like, I had time to finish up at work, go take care of Mom for a week and do all the stuff, and then I get to go to Sedona for 9 days and release and just be. And I was like, thanks, Dad. That was really awesome timing.
Right.
So thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you.
A week ago, I got a phone call. My dad was going
Hold the mic a little closer.
to be declining even more. And I had to fly out to New Jersey. And the last couple months have been a bit of a struggle as his body's declined. But one of the gifts of the method was to be fully present. And over the past 9 months, I spent 3 months with him, back and forth. So I had a lot of time with him. And Monday, I fed him a popsicle at 5 o'clock. And then at 9:45, he had passed. So I'm grateful for the method, because all I keep remembering is all is perfect. And I was struggling whether to come or not come, or would I be able to be here. And the power of the releasing. My sisters are like, "You're not getting emotional. What's the matter with you? Don't you love him?" And I just sat there as he passed, and afterwards I was okay. I mean, I have gratitude to the method. And one of the things in 2003, when I first came to my first retreat, and I did some releasing with you, and I asked you, my dad had heart surgery then, and I said, "I don't know how I'm going to take this, you know." And one of the things you said is, you know, can you grant him permission to be the way he is and let go of trying to fix it or change it? And the last year, I was able to be present with him and learn more about him than I did the past 40 years. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to share something and also ask for some assistance. What I wanted to share was, you know, you were talking about you might not know what would change or what would happen, and people are sharing their gains from using the Sedona method. Well, one of the, I guess I'd call it a gain in a way that I've had in the past couple years that I've been doing this, is that in the past I was like terrified of ever letting anybody down. And in the last, I would say, year, I've really let several people down in my life. And
I'm telling you, we're going to just this whole first part, we'll put it right up onto the seminar. They'll be lining up around the block.
I think this gets better.
You can learn to let people down. And
I know. It gets even better. These are people I really care about a lot.
Right. Especially the ones you really care about.
And even better than that, I just really don't care that much. No, that's not really true. I go back and forth between not wanting to be a doormat anymore, and then feeling bad because if I'm not a doormat, then people are displeased, and feeling good that I'm not a doormat, and you know, just all that stuff that goes back and forth, back and forth. But the assistance I'd like to ask you for is there are two people in my life that I feel are like really needy and dependent on me, and I worry about them a lot. Like, and they believe, like they have a belief that they're dependent on me, and I keep trying to tell them they aren't, and have them see that they're not, but they really believe that they are. And then I start believing that they are, and it's a continuing source of anxiety for me, that they are needy.
Okay. Are they here now?
No, thank goodness. I'm away from them both for 2 weeks.
Yes, but are they here right now?
No.
Okay. And is that problem here right now?
No, but it will be as soon as I go home. So I'm already fretting about.
Right. So you're going to be here for 2 weeks, and you're already planning for the trouble you're going to have when you get home.
Right.
Right.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm asking for.
Right. So, but let's see if there's even trouble. The only way we can have trouble is to think that there's someone here to be troubled. So in this moment, can you find the one who thinks that they're dependent on them?
No, no.
Okay, so what do you find right here, right now?
Just projections about trouble and nothing.
Okay, so is there actually a problem?
No, not right now.
Right. And is there actually anyone there to have problems?
It seems like there is.
Oh, okay.
It's an yeah, it seems like there is.
Right, it seems that way. So what are you pointing at when you say there seems like there's someone there to have problems? What exactly are you pointing at?
A persona or an identification with
Right.
my
Those-
circumstances and the people in my life.
Right, but aren't those all just concepts or words?
Yes.
Okay, so look through all that and check. Are you those concepts?
No. But it seems like I am.
Right, no, but have you ever been in a situation where it seemed one way only to discover it wasn't that way?
Yes. Of course, yes.
Yes. So just check. Is any of that real, or does it just seem real?
It just appears to all be real.
Right. But is it? Check.
No, it's not real.
Right. So what's actually here now?
Just joy and kind of a peace about it and gratitude.
Great.
Bunch of people in a room.
Great.
Apparently.
Right. Right. See, one of the things I'm going to recommend to everyone here is let's start right away not buying what our minds have been telling us. We could wait a couple of days and engage the mind and make nice, or we can just go for it. What do you think? Okay. So that's my intent, to just go for it. We can, the way to get the most out of this time that we're all going to spend together is to not, well, it's not so much, but to just really notice what's actually here now. And start it right away. Why wait? Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Good. So I actually want to do a group release, and then I'll give a couple of assignments. I was actually planning to do a whole day on death, but it seems like we need to get a little head start tonight. Because one of the places where a lot of us get caught is we're willing to let go of our resistance to life, but we're not willing to let go of our resistance to death. We forget that life and death are one and the same. Without death, there could be no life. Every body in this room is a food body. Other things, even if you're a vegetarian, had to die in order for that body to live. And there are 50 trillion cells in that body. There are probably millions dying every moment. Without death, there could be no life. But we live in a world and in a society that where we demonize death and we spend our entire lives trying to avoid it or pretend it's not going to happen to us or anyone we care about. And in our culture, at least in the United States, and it's not in all cultures, but at least in the United States, if someone's getting close to death, we try to isolate them because we don't want to be around that. But that's kind of crazy because life and death are really the same thing. It's all one. So let's do a release on life and death. It's a good way to start, don't you think? I actually had a good reminder today. Sometimes my body does funny things when I'm about to do a retreat, and this wasn't an exception. I was doing my Qigong set and you do a warm up and then a cool down at the end of a Qigong set, and there's a stretch where you do something to relax your knees, and I bent over, and my lower back just went. So I'm gonna sit. Although it's interesting, it hurts more when I sit, but I'm gonna sit anyway. So in this moment, could you just simply allow what is to be? And be. And be. And then in this moment, allow yourself to welcome life. Welcome the life that's living through that body. Welcome the life that has nothing to do with bodies. And then could you also welcome death? And something we rarely welcome. But death and life are the same. So could you also welcome death? And then in this moment, could you allow yourself to welcome up all your beliefs about death? All your pictures of death. All you have to do is think of the last time you watched the news. Watch what's going on in Japan, or in the Middle East, or in your neighborhood. Or to the people that you care about. And you'll see examples of death. So could you just simply welcome all those images, all those pictures, all those feelings, all those thoughts? And could you also welcome everything you've done this lifetime to try to avoid death? The right makeup, the right supplement, the right diet, the right exercise routine, the right environment. And everything that you do every day to try to avoid death. And could you just simply welcome all of that? And could you welcome as well all your wanting to control death? All your wanting to avoid death? All your wanting to deny death? and any other wanting to do anything with or about it. And then could you welcome, too, any sense that there's such a thing as your death? Any sense that death is personal? Most of us think it is. So could you welcome any sense that your death or anyone else's death is personal? Is about you or who you are. And then could you welcome too that which is beyond life and death? That which simply is. Here and now. And here and now. Okay, good. So one of the things I would recommend you experiment with is letting go of your resistance to death and life. Because we don't realize how much we spend almost every moment in some way resisting death. And since there's nobody here to die, it's a waste of time. And it's also a waste of time because everybody in this room will die. Some sooner and some later. But to act like that isn't true, or to hope that it isn't true, is just a way of denying life. Often martial artists will actually consciously invite death to be with them always, because it's an interesting discipline, because it helps keep everything in perspective. So let's see, assignments. I think do I have a lot of assignments? Probably not, but we'll see. The first one, you'll definitely need to write this one down, otherwise you'll forget it. I'm being facetious, in case you didn't guess. You ready? Be yourself. And honestly, I don't think I want to give you any other assignments. I already gave you a couple of guidelines. That's probably enough. Good night, all.